This morning, the Daily Fix is going live. We can discuss anything. Let us discuss the Senzo Meyiwa trial. We can discuss many other things, the Kwekwe issue. We can discuss the Omotoso issue. Anything that is of interest to you. Let us get on with it. I know a lot of you will be interested in the Senzo Meyiwa trial. But that is not the only thing that the Daily Fix is all about. The Daily Fix is about many other things of interest. I've always emphasized that this is not just a Senzo Meyiwa trial. We are going to cover a variety of topics of interest to South Africa and South Africans. So please join us on the Daily Fix. Let me see those comments in the comment section, and as those comments come in, I'll be responding to those comments and we can take it from there. So there we are. We don't have a comment yet, but let us just recall that as I wait for those comments, let us recall that the Senzo Meyiwa trial is resuming on the 14th of April in the Pretoria High Court. Should be a very interesting session, this one, because we are nearing the end of the trial. And we should see what the end of the trial will be. I'm sure a lot of you will be very interested to know what the outcome will be or what the verdict will be. So 2025 is the year in which we hope this trial comes to an end. And well, with all these controversies, remember there are a lot of controversies surrounding this trial about the two dockets and many other things. But we have a trial going on, so we'll see as it unfolds what is going to happen and come to an end. What will they do with docket 375, the no intruder docket? All remains to be seen. So I'm ready to look into some of your comments and let us take it from there. I'm not at work today, and this live chat will be continuing for an hour or so, just over an hour. So let us get on with it. I don't have any comments yet, but I'm looking forward to those comments. And I anticipate that they should be coming in any minute from now. There's also the Omotoso acquittal, Omotoso has been acquitted, after he faced something like 32 counts of sexual abuse in the Gqeberha High Court. And this has caused a lot of controversy, and the NPA has got a lot to explain. Yeah, the first participant here now I see is Ivana. Hi Ivana, how are you? And there's also Danny Parties. Hello. Dayal, is it Dayal? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. And Helen Keys, good morning, my advocate. Good morning. There's Ivana saying, Ra, you are waiting for a common, but you don't even answer us. Oh, I don't follow what Ivana is saying there. I don't even answer you. How did I not answer you about Ivana now? So there's also Diane parties. Who says good morning, advocate. Hope you are doing well. Yes, I'm doing well. I'm doing very well indeed. My health is intact. And who else is coming on there? Who else is coming on there? There's somebody calls me Baldy. He says, "Hi, Baldy." Am I bald-headed? I'm not too sure whether I'm bald-headed, but he says. Anyway, he says, "Hi, Baldy." As I do that, I'll be enjoying one or two snacks here because this is around my breakfast time, but that should not be disturb anybody. That's the polo. Aaron, good morning, my advocate. Good morning, Aaron. And Petrus Makani is also saying good morning. Yeah, let us have issues and get the conversation going. If you've got any issues, just type in that issue there and I'll respond to it. I was just saying that we have just had that Omotoso acquittal in the High Court, and I have cancer. Ivana is saying, "Do you have like cancer or are you allergic to something?" I don't have cancer. What are you talking about, Ivana? And there's Papito who's coming on. He says, "What about me, Malums?" Good morning, Papito. Papito always calls me Malums. Good morning, Papito. I'm fine. How are you? So let's get going. I think there are about now 12 people have come in, mainly with greetings. Ivana says it's too dark. Can you go to the light? Oh, Ivana, I'm not aware of that. Let me move on to some lighter place, and perhaps you can tell me what this looks like. And let's move into some lighter place. Yes, Ivana. It's nice and well lit here. How is this? Perhaps this is better. I hope the light is better here. Yeah, Londi is also saying much better. Yes, perhaps you can see me. Pepito is saying I'm well, thanks, and for asking Malum. Today I will type in English, look better in the light. Yes, I look better in the light, Pepito. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, type in English, please. Mokhalodi Buikanyo also says, perfect now. Thank you very much. I was not aware that the lighting was a problem. The Polo Aaron is also there, says, my advocate, will the case of Senzo come to an end? Yes, I'm hoping that it will come to an end, Papito. Remember that, remember that the prosecution is just about to round up his case. And after the prosecution rounds up his case, we'll get into the defense case. I'm anticipating that the defense case will run perhaps up until maybe for the next 3 months or so, but we should come to an end. Reno Swaby says, people are not coming. Why do you think people who see corruption happening are not coming out and informing the public? Yes, people are afraid. You see, it's a very difficult thing to be a whistleblower. Look what is happening to Patricia Mashali now. Patricia Mashali is virtually in exile in her own country. You know, you get victimized if you come out into the open and expose corruption. I suppose that is why people, are so scared to expose corruption, because the consequences sometimes can be dire. You know, look at T4 in the Senzo trial. T4 exposed the existence of Docket 375, and look what happened to him. He ended up losing his status as an advocate. He ended up getting struck off the roll. So it's not an easy thing being a whistleblower. So some of the things that we are doing, carry a risk. It is very risky to be engaged in this sort of thing, exposing corruption, because those who are corrupt don't take very kindly, to being exposed. Because if you expose them, yes, it might be dangerous. Reno says, yes, it might be dangerous. Like I'm saying, it's dangerous. Yeah, they might have the evidence. Yes, the evidence will be very important, Reno, because it can always help. But people, you see, don't want to take risks about their life. Yeah, the evidence that cannot be discredited, yes. Most of the time you find that evidence can't be discredited. But it is the personal consequences that they are worried about. Because you see, people have got families to run and so on. Diteko Motlohelwa says, advocate the matter of the former public protector. Don't you think she risked her career for saving a certain political faction? Yeah, that was a huge risk, Diteko, on the part of Busisiwe Mkhwebane, because at the time when she was there, she served certain interests, perhaps the Zuma faction interests. So when this other faction came into power, they just decided to get rid of her because she was too closely associated with the former Zuma government. Reno is back again and says, I think we should create a website where they can post the information there and still be anonymous. That would be that's a fantastic idea, Reno. Because you see, if we have a website where people can post information anonymously, then that will make sure that they are protected, because people need that protection, because we need that information to use it. But I think once people are sure that they have the necessary protection, then that should not be a problem, because the real issue here is their safety. So once they can, or once they can be protected, I think it will make things very easy for them to come forward and give us that information. Because like I'm saying, it's really a question of their safety. Reno continue to say the only problem will be with the police, because from the Senzo case we can see that even they cannot be trusted. Yeah, you see, if that's a sad thing in South Africa these days. Because if ordinary citizens cannot even trust the police, to keep them to keep them anonymous, then where is the justice system going? Just where is the justice system going? Because we want to trust the police, so that when we give them information, the police don't reveal who their sources are or who the whistleblowers are. It's a sad thing when ordinary citizens have gotten to a stage where they cannot trust the police. But that is the reality of it in certain cases. I mean, the South African public, by and large, has lost trust in the police. Why that is, I really don't have a very good answer for that. But, the police, you go anywhere and ask ordinary men and women whether they trust the police, and there's this general perception that the police are corrupt, which is a very unfortunate thing. So, And corruption is a huge problem in South Africa. It's a huge problem in South Africa. People have the information to expose the corrupt people. It is just how the question is just how do they get that information to the authorities? Reno says, are you not afraid of being targeted? Reno, like any other person in this world, I am afraid. I've got my own fears. But we should not be controlled by fear because, there's a saying that goes, cowards die many times before their actual deaths. I will not be deterred in what I'm doing because I'm afraid of being targeted or, my death will come one day. So that if some hooligan somewhere wants to take it, let him have it, I suppose. But you see, I'm not going to live my life, afraid of my own shadow or turning back to see who is following me. Because certainly when you do the work that I'm doing, people are bound to get interested, especially those who you are exposing. They're bound to be interested, and of course, there's that little fear there at the back of your mind, but it shouldn't determine where I'm going or where my life is going. I've got certain things to expose. I've got a mission in life. Got a mission in life. When I grew up in Sharpeville, I had the opportunity at some stage of meeting. I'm sure some of you might have heard of Solomon Mahlangu. Solomon Mahlangu was hanged in the Pretoria High Court in 1980. He left South Africa, went into exile, and came back on a mission to come and fight apartheid. He was arrested in the city center of Pretoria and was eventually hanged. He was a very young man. I think he was about 24 at the time when he was hanged. So one of the things that I admired about Solomon Mahlangu used to say, I am going into exile. I want to go into exile. For me, the whole idea of going into exile was so terrifying. So Solomon once told me that I'll be going into exile, but I'm not going to go into exile and age in exile. I'm coming back to come and fight apartheid. He did leave for exile. I think he went to Tanzania, came back a short while later. So, and he was hanged. So fear should not be, the controlling factor in our lives. Because imagine if all of us were afraid of the consequences of what would happen to us, then I suppose nothing would happen. We need Solomon Mahlangus in this world. We need people, men and women, who are brave enough to stand up for the truth. Papito is back and says, Malums, what do you think killed Senzo's name? Who thinks killed Senzo? Name them like here now, and can I have that leather jacket? You want to have my leather jacket? This is an old leather jacket, Papito. So I think, what happened is in that house, in that Mayu house, I think that Longwa got rowdy in that house and was prevailed upon by Senzo not to be rowdy, and Senzo took him out of the house after he had shot a bullet right in front of everybody. Senzo took him out of that house, and then outside the house, Senzo dispossessed him of that firearm and gave it to Kelly Kumalo. Now, Kelly Kumalo then handed over that firearm to, rather, Senzo then handed over that firearm from Longwe to Kelly Kumalo. Now, it is not very clear whether Kelly was playing around with that gun or whether Kelly could have shot Senzo deliberately. Because you see, much as I would like to believe that Kelly Kumalo shot Senzo by mistake while she was playing with that gun, but why hide the whole thing? I mean, if your boyfriend is visiting you and you mistakenly shot him, why couldn't this thing just be reported to the police as it was? That, We had a sit-in, we had some drinks. I was playing around with a gun, and the gun, accidentally fired and shot my boyfriend, and that is how my boyfriend has died. Why couldn't that just be reported as it was at the Fostoras police station? Why come up with this other narrative that there were intruders into that house? So there are still question marks about that. Whether it could have been an accidental shooting, or whether it could be something worse, whether it could be deliberate. But you see, the investigation of this matter is very problematic. Nana Mekwe says, when is the case resuming? Nana, the case is resuming on April 14th, that is next week, Monday, in the Pretoria High Court. So we are looking forward to the case resuming the Pretoria High Court, and we want to see some finality, whatever it is, I suppose the family also wants closure, but I think they're looking for proper closure. The sad thing is that FISO has always been saying the people in the Pretoria High Court are not the people who killed my younger brother. So I don't see closure. Under those circumstances, I don't see any closure. Because if the family does not believe that the people standing trial in the Pretoria High Court are the people who killed Senzo, then how do they get closure? Because they will simply say the wrong people are convicted. And they will still believe, they'll still have that belief that, Senzo was not killed by any of those 5 people that we see in the Pretoria High Court. Hey, what a sad outcome that would be. But that is where we are now. That is where Gininda Balu have put us. So, whether it is justice or not, but as far as I'm concerned, it can never be justice when, the right people, the wrong people go to jail. We need justice for Senzo, and we need the right people, in that courtroom going to jail. Doesn't help anybody just to have a trial and a conviction just for the sake of having a trial and a conviction, and at the end of the day, we just, convict the wrong people, because there'll always be that question mark as to, are these the people who killed Senzo? And there are a lot of question marks about that. So I hope that answers the question of, when the case is resuming. And I've also gone a bit further to say what I think about, the trial in general terms. Taking back to getting to the issue of whether, am I not being afraid of being targeted? Yes. Fear is always with us. It's a human instinct. It's always there, but we should not let our fear determine our destination or determine our everyday life. And there's no doubt that in a situation like this, one is bound to get targeted. So let us move on and look at other issues. If there are other questions, please come up with them and let us discuss them. The police back again and said, this big guy, what was he doing there after the shooting? And how call him if he's KK? Yeah, this big guy. Who's the big guy? I know who the big guy is. The musician, I suppose. And he was called this musician after, how call him if KK? The big musician. Just say who that person is so that we know who we're talking about here at the Polo. Reno is back again. If I were to do the website, will you assist in promoting the website. Yes, I can assist. I can assist with that. I can assist with that because you see, for a website to be successful, like any endeavor, you know, it has to be known. You have to work hard to make sure that you popularize the website and people get to know it. Yes, I will. Let me answer you in a short way and say yes. I will help you market that website. We can actually run the website with you. People who says back again and says, "Oh, that's Chico." I don't know what Chico was doing there. I don't know what Chico was doing there because Chico is not a policeman. You know, what was he there to do? Something funny was happening there. Chico ought not to be on the scene. This is why this trial keeps on dragging Chico into it. Chico had no business being there. The Teko Motokala says, advocate, what are the consequences of the court having two dockets for the same matter or two different statements from the same witness that contradict each other? You see, this situation of the two dockets, let me start with the two dockets. This situation of the two dockets is unique in South Africa. It clearly shows that corruption was happening. Somebody was being protected here. Because you'll recall that, these two dockets were warranted by the fact that, police officers had different views about what had happened there. So other police went in one direction and the others went in another. Two different statements that contradict each other from the same witness. If you make two contradicting statements, if one witness makes two contradicting statements, that's perjury. That's perjury. And that kind of evidence cannot be accepted in court. Moving on to Reno. Reno says, I'll make sure it is anonymous and also make it in such a way that people coming to the website can view the reports. Yes, that will be very crucial, Reno. You have to make it anonymous because if it's not anonymous, I'm telling you, nobody is going to come forward to say, I saw and so I'm reporting this and this and this and this and this. So it is very important to maintain its anonymity. Monde says, advocate, please get some information to Patricia, Mashale, and Jabulo and forward it to defense lawyers. The Mjiako matter. Yes, I'm in possession of information, and I will be getting in touch with some people like Patricia Mashale. Can somebody just give me Patricia Mashale's numbers? I'm frantically trying to get in touch with Patricia Mashale. These are the sort of people I must, Padita says, Tapadima. I'm always talking about Tapadima. Papito. Tapadima is around. He runs a forensic investigations office. He is around. I don't know whether you want his address or what. Why would you want his address? But he runs an office, let us say, somewhere in Gauteng. But he is around. He's a former retired police officer. And he retired because of the corruption that he was seeing mainly in the Senzo trial. So Tapadima is still there. I'm in contact with him as and when I want some clarification on the Senzo on some aspects of the Senzo trial, because remember, Tapadima was an investigator in this matter. He was actually on the ground. He was one of the people who were doing the investigation, and this is one of the people who took a different view or was part of the group of people who never believed that there were intruders into that house. So to answer you, Tapadima is there, and Tapadima is always in contact with me regarding the Senzo investigation. He runs a forensics investigation company of his own with some people. So I'm also intending to, you see, on the 14th of April, that is next week, Monday. I'll be in the Pretoria High Court briefly in the morning. That is why I'll be doing those interviews or that demonstration, followed by interviews will take place at about 11 o'clock on the same day. I will have disposed of whatever business that I'll be doing in court, and I'll be out there, and you people are going to see me there. We will probably, have a live chat right there outside the Pretoria High Court. Papito, what do you say? I just want us to go for coffee. I want to meet him, see him, have Google but zero, like you say he is part of this group. I want to see his face. I didn't see him on the Netflix. Yeah, you'll see me. You'll see his face. You think maybe he's not fictitious. I never deal with fictitious characters. It's just that people are, reluctant to show their faces, but he has come out to say my name is Lapadima, and the South African Police Services must know him. So I did watch that documentary. He was not part of that documentary because that Netflix documentary, Netflix contacted whoever they wanted to contact. So I don't know why they didn't contact him. The table says, are there possibilities of Omotoso matter to be put back in court? That is a difficult one, the table, because you see, Omotoso has been acquitted. And once Omotoso is acquitted, because you recall that one of the charges that he was facing was that, or he was found to be, in South Africa illegally, and he'll probably be deported. But the only way they can make sure Omotoso, is kept goes back to court, is to immediately arrest him, because you remember there are those 32 other charges which were dropped. They were not dropped because there was no evidence. They were dropped because the witnesses were not willing to come forward. They can arrest him and, start looking for those witnesses, charge him on some other charges relating to those, and get those witnesses who never, turned up. But it is, a disgusting state of affairs to see that, the NPA can prefer 32 charges against the men, sexual violence offenses or GBV offenses, and not even get a conviction on one. I mean, that's a scandal for the NPA, isn't it? Yeah, the only way they can get him back into court, Ditiko, is they can rearrest him before he leaves for Nigeria. But I don't know where the man is now. And I'm sure that once he got acquitted, the man was on his way to Nigeria. Because you see, he has spent 8 years in jail, and once he got acquitted, I don't think he wasted any time. But I really don't know where Omotoso is now. But that was the only possibility of getting him back into court was if he was rearrested on some other charges, because as far as these charges go, he has been acquitted. There is Quest. Quest says, good morning, Advocate Tulo. Yes, good morning, Quest. I am fine, and thank you for joining this chat. We are discussing a number of issues here. You can come up with any issue that you want us to discuss. There's no agenda today because I'm really just getting to know people. This is my first live chat, and I'm really trying to, interact with my viewers and to try and get them, to try and get to know them rather. Papito said, do you think Timothy Omotoso can sue? Else I had issued with his support. They attacked me, very like we attack you. How do you cope with the criticism you get here? You block people. As Omotoso, let me start with Omotoso. Omotoso can sue the South African government for, wrongful arrest and malicious prosecution. Because why in the first place was Omotoso arrested? Why was Omotoso, prosecuted if there was a case? So he can sue the South African government. I mean, the man has spent 8 years in jail, and at the end of it all, he gets an acquittal. He can sue the South African government for millions, in fact. Let me see. The criticism, I've always said the criticism that comes, I am open to, criticism. I'm not a messiah, or I'm not big-headed. I'm not one of those big-headed advocates. People can always criticize me, and people are entitled to their views. I'm entitled to my own views. People are also entitled to my own views. They can attack me, but let us do it, in a respectful manner. But if you just outright insult me, and call me names, why should I not block you, Papito? Why should I not block you? I'm not going to ruin my day reading junk like that, because frankly, that is junk which does not belong on the daily fix. So that is why I only block people who insult me. In fact, I don't block them permanently. I just remove that particular comment, because, like I always say, it does not belong there. It does not belong there. If you want to criticize me, let us do it, in a civilized manner, and I'll accept criticism. And a lot of you have criticized me, and it has built me into a better person. I don't have the arrogance to say I know it all. No, no, no. Just because I'm an advocate, I don't know it all. That would be a false promise to operate from. I rely on criticism to be a better man. Papito says any issue can be discussed. This is your second live chat that you have had. I was there on your first. I'm a real fan. Yes, Papito, I know you're a real fan, but you always write some very difficult Setswana. I know Setswana because I'm so to myself. But your Setswana can be very difficult. But I'm not discouraging you from using your Setswana, because I know Setswana, and thank you for telling me that you're a real fan. And I can attest to that, because every time I look into that comment section, Papito is always there. So, like, yes, any issue can be discussed. Any issue can be discussed today. Like I'm saying, this is an introductory, chat. The first one that I had did not work out very well, because I had some technical issues. So this is a way of trying to, sort of come face to face with your audience and respond to some of the concerns that I have. If you think that there are certain things that I'm not doing right, please say so. Please say so, but say so in a respectful manner, and I'll give you a very respectful, response. There's nothing to be much that is coming up now, but I'm saying South Africa today is, one of the things that I'm worried about is the issue of corruption. So, as followers of the Daily Fix, let us not get fixated on the Senzo trial. I hope you people can hear me, right? I can't, that does not get fixated on the Senzo trial. There are so many other things to cover, because the Daily Fix is the Daily Fix. This is not the Senzo fix. This is the Daily Fix. Let us please try and diversify. But Peter says, I can't change to Sesotho. Do you have children? I mentioned you don't wear a wedding ring and you are still practicing law. Where did you study? Give us some background about your life, please. Yes, you can't change to Sesotho. I'm not saying you must change to Sesotho, but Peter. I'm just saying sometimes your son can be very good. I have children. Yes, I've got 3 children. I've got 3 daughters. I don't wear a wedding ring for personal reasons. I'm still practicing law, Papito. Where did you study? Yes, I went into exile. And while I went into exile in Lesotho. I studied law at the National University of Lesotho. I was at the National University of Lesotho with people like Nwakurama Todi. You'll also remember Tito Mboweni. Those are the people where I went to. I was with at the National University of Lesotho with. So that is my background. Where did you study? Yeah, my life. I'm basically a criminal defense lawyer. I practice all over South Africa, or to be specific, I practice in 5 provinces. I practice in Gauteng, I practice in the Pretoria and Johannesburg High Courts. I also practice in the Free State at the Free State High Court. I also practice in the Northern Cape High Court. I also practice in the Eastern Cape. So basically, I'm all over the place. Yes, Papito, you're here for me. You're always there for me, and you have been the most regular commenter ever since this chat started. So I have a wife. My wife is still here. Oh, basically, that is about my life. I don't particularly like to, talk about me as a person, because sometimes when you start talking about yourself, yourself is as if you are marketing yourself. Lawyers are not supposed to, solicit business from people. It's about the issues. What is important is about the issues, not about advocate to lawyer. It is the issues that I deal with that are important. We have been going now for about 41 minutes. I think, I don't know how many. I've not been keeping count of the number of, people who have been coming on to the live chat. So I went to the National University of Lesotho. It was difficult in those days. I went to the National University of Lesotho in the early 80s, and it was a difficult time. Exile was not a cup of tea. So, like I'm saying, I studied at the National University of Lesotho. The National University of Lesotho is just about some 30 kilometers outside the capital, Maseru. So that is about it as far as my personal life is concerned. And I'm still practicing. And I'll be going on for a long time. I'm in my 60s now. In law, there's no such thing as retirement in law. You retire when your body, can no longer function. There are lawyers for just out of interest. There are lawyers that I know, who are in their late 80s. There's one old man that I always meet in the Pretoria High Court. You didn't believe this. I think he'll be turning 91 this year. So at my age in this business, they'll tell you, those big boys will always tell you that in law life begins at 60. But anyway, that's as far as I can tell you about my personal life. I don't see anybody coming in now, and perhaps I prepare a cup of tea for myself. Papito is back again. It says only by Papito. He's here for you, Malum. Yeah, Papito, I know you're always there for me, but here's the take of Omotoso also coming in, and he says, Advocate, I support you. You mustn't be shaken or distracted by others with negative comments. Keep on doing the good job that you are doing. Yes, the take one, I'm never distracted by a few, good for nothing people. Good for nothing people. Good for nothing people who, have nothing to do with their time just to wake up every morning to insult me. So I'm not deterred by people like that. That is why I've decided just to, I just decided to remove such negative comments. Those insults have no effect on me whatsoever. And thank you, Ditiko, for saying that. Pamela is here also and says, good morning, advocate. Keep on doing the good job. Thank you very much, Pamela. I will keep on doing the good job for as long as God has given me this energy. Kingan says, I tried to send a comment the other day, but something went wrong. I saw one other court case. It took videos were used. Can the Netflix documentary be used in Senzo's case? I don't know whether that does infringes copyright because you see, Netflix has got copyright. Legally, you cannot use somebody else's material. You cannot use anybody's material just to and pretend that it is your own material. It would be against the copyright laws. So it would not be proper to do that. I hope that answers your question, Dingan. As for these people like Pamela who are saying keep up the good work, yes, I'll try and I'll keep on doing and I'll keep on doing my very best because I know that people need voices like this, and as an advocate, I think I have the advantage of understanding the evidence, and I always try and unbundle the evidence. Unbundle the evidence for you to try and simplify it so that you can understand it. Yeah, I'm having a cup of tea now. Yeah, Dingan comes back again and says, advocate, I tried to send a comment. Oh no, I've already dealt with that. Monde says, good advocate for the job you do in South Africa, behind you and others that I just was saying so. And now that joke is happening in Ratakot. Thank you, Monde, for that. Because, we must stand up for what is right in this country. And whenever things happen in a manner that they should not be happening, we must stand up, like some of the things that we are seeing in that High Court in Pretoria are not just right. So it is for us to stand up and say, we must stand up and say enough is enough. If something is wrong, why should we just keep quiet and just let it go on and on and on? Diteko Motokhelwa says, indeed, you are the voice of the voiceless. Thank you, Diteko. I didn't know that I'm a voice of the voiceless. But what a compliment to be called the voice of the voiceless. So I'll keep it up this way. I'll keep it up this way because I've always, as an advocate, associated with the common man. I never became an advocate to be a multi-millionaire, but I live a comfortable life, and that is all that matters to me. So thank you for the compliment of me being the voice of the voiceless. Kiobokile. Mahano says, hi. Kiobokile. Hello, welcome to the Daily Fix live chat. If you have just joined us, we are discussing almost everything of interest to us this morning. This is an introductory live chat because I want to interact in this manner with my audience, get to know you, can discuss anything from the Omotoso trial to the Senzo trial. But let me get back to the Senzo trial. I was just saying this, the Senzo trial has attracted a lot of publicity. But this is not the only thing that the Daily Fix is about. Let us diversify and look into other issues. I'm sure you people are going to get bored if every time you switch onto the Daily Fix, it just goes Senzo Meyiwa. I'm not saying we must not go, deal with the Senzo Meyiwa trial, but there are many other issues. Chris Maswanga says, good morning, advocate. Those who are doubting your knowledge will one day and come and confess to you. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. If you doubt my knowledge of the law, I mean, that's your business, really. I know who I am. They can check with the Legal Practice Council whether I'm an advocate. Yeah. Papito says, are you a religious man? And if you were a defense in Senzo case, would you? Yeah, Papito says, a religious man, and if you were a defense in Senzo case, would you call the Sangoma that apparently was Kelly and Gang that morning, and then that Sangoma is powerful? I am a religious man. I really believe in God. I really believe in the power of God. We are all made in the image of the Almighty. But I don't believe, I don't believe in Sangomas. For one, have never believed in all that, Sangomas are all about. I think to me it's a lot of fantasies. So to answer you directly, I don't think I would call Sangomas to come and do anything for me. I've never called Sangomas to do anything for me, and I don't intend to call any Sangoma to do anything. Well, do you think that Sangoma is powerful? Yes, they are entitled to your beliefs, Papito, but I don't think we share the same views as far as Sangomas are concerned. We have now been going for 51 minutes. Let us see where it goes. How many of you have come in? I'm not keeping count of, the number of shares that we have had so far, but I think we have had 15 likes, and the number of shares that we have had is about what? 21. But I don't think they're 21. Anyway, Papito is back again. 16 people are here. Thank you, Papito. We are small, yeah. But it's not about numbers, Papito. It's not about numbers. It's about... Quest is back here again. Keep it up, advocate. Turn those criticisms into strength. We need vocal people like you to shape the broken South Africa. Yes, you see, I just do that. I do exactly that. Those criticisms actually, those negative criticisms, actually, they motivate me to do more and do better. I turn tragedies into victories. Thank you very much, Quest. Papito is back again. Can I see the design of the t-shirt you have planned? And true, is it not about numbers? I know because I am your number one. I don't have the design of the t-shirt with me, Papito, unfortunately, because remember that t-shirt project? It just collapsed. I think I got one or two, I think I got one or two orders, and I had to refund those people because how do you, run a project with only two people who are interested in it? So I think we can forget about that t-shirt project because it just didn't get off the ground. Capito is keeping count here. There are 19 of you now who have come on board. And the chat continues. I was just saying to you that let us diversify, please. Let us diversify. Let us diversify and look into many other issues. Like when there's Omotoso, there's I implore my viewers to look into people like That's a very sad state of affairs for that young girl, 7-year-old girl. Let us diversify and move away from being fixated on just on the Senzo trial. Reno is back again and says, I'm currently working on the website. Where can I contact you after it has been deployed? Yeah, that website, let us run that website together. My number, Reno, is 063 640 4329. That's a WhatsApp number. You can contact me on my WhatsApp and we can see how we promote that website with you. So I hope that answers your question. The number again, 063 640 4329. And it's available on WhatsApp. So contact me on that number and we can take this matter further. I didn't know, Reno, that you would be immediately be working on the website. Or is it a project that you have been working on for a long time? I thought it was just coming as a suggestion now. For those who are not aware of what this website is all about, Reno has suggested that we come up with a whistleblowing website where people can remain anonymous and give us information on that platform, the platform of the website. And Reno says, please say your number again. Say I didn't get it. Reno, here's the number again. 063 640 4329. I'm just moving slightly now as I'm having my coffee. I hope the lighting is good here. I don't want to be in a place. I hope the lighting is good. Yeah, the lighting is good, yeah. The lighting is good. Yeah, there you are. Now you've got it, Reno. Yeah, just have it deployed and then we can take matters from there. Yes, like I said, Reno, you can contact me on my WhatsApp number. I hope I'm still visible from here. There's a lot of light. I'm now sitting outside and sipping a cup of coffee. So this is the objective of this of this chat today is really to get to know my viewers, to discuss with them a variety of issues which are of interest, and to say what do you think about the daily fix. What should we be covering? What is of interest to you? Like I've just been saying, let us not just be fixated on the Senzo Meyiwa. Let us look into other things. Papito says, what about AKA? His case looks like Senzo. Sorry to mention Senzo, but he's the show for now. It's nice outside. You live in a nice area. There's no loud music. Yes, I live in a nice place. Nice place, you know. I live in a nice place. This suburb here, it's a very nice, quiet place. You know, coming from Kasi, from Sharpeville, this is quiet. This is quite some transition. Mashaba says your number again. TW Mashaba again says my number again. Now my number again, Mashaba, is 063 640 4329. 063 640 4329. I hope you've got it. Absolutely, Compo, if that is the name. My advocate, yes. How are you? How are you there? Absolute. No, I was just saying that let us diversify. I know, the Senzo Meyiwa trial is very close to your heart, and there's, it's very sad what is happening out there. There's also AKA, like Papito says, That's a very interesting thing because you are waiting for those people to be extradited. Remember, the two other accused persons to be extradited from Swaziland, but it seems to be taking forever. That extradition is taking forever because, extradition by its very nature is a very complex process. So, the AKA trial also should be of interest to all South Africans. So this is what I'm saying. Let us diversify and look into other areas. In that way, I think TV Mashaba says what? TW Mashaba. Your number again. My number is 063 640 4329. That is my number. Yes, I was saying that. I was just saying that the AKA trial is a very interesting trial to most South Africans, and I'm sure a lot of you would like to see it being covered on the Daily Fix. So that we move away from the daily narrative of the Senzo trial. Diversification, they say variety is the spice of life. Let us spice up the Daily Fix with some variety. Papito, in Kasi, you didn't have peace and its holidays. Is your wife employed? When is retirement for you, sir? You spoke of 91-year-old who still working in the courtroom. Papito, is always so interesting. My wife is a retired nurse. In government they retire you. No, now I'm not looking for retirement. I'm not looking for retirement. The 91-year-old that I'm talking about is still practicing in the Pretoria High Court. I'm not looking forward to working until I'm 91. I was just saying that in this profession, there's no retirement age. You go for as long as your health will allow it. You just keep on going. So I'm in my 60s now. Give me probably plus or minus 15 years, I'll still be here. Then I'll call it a day. Sometime, I don't know, around 2040. Yeah. Let's just give you an estimate, but people say around 2040, I'll be calling it quits. Mokakulu Dibu Ikanyo says, we'll always support you, advocate. You are here for you. Justice is what we believe in, and we'll always stand and fight for it. Thank you very much, Mokakulu, for the support that you are giving to me. Justice, is something that has always been very close to my heart. I became a lawyer because, I saw the apartheid system. And, I imagine, I admired a lot of lawyers who were fighting that system. People like, Advocate Sidney Kentridge, people like George Bezos. So I always told myself that, if I have an opportunity, one day I will study law. And I did. God willing, I studied law. And I'm always interested in the plight of the common man. I'm not just involved in, high-profile issues like the Senzo trial. Even small matters that, affect people's life on a daily basis. I'm always... Yes, Papito says, have you been overseas traveling the world? Yes, Papito. I haven't traveled the world that much, but I've been to England and Germany and Italy also. In Africa, I've been to Kenya. I've also been to Zambia. I've been to Angola also. Of course, places like Botswana and Swaziland, these ones are very close. We are always going to go to them. So Kiubokile Mohano says, hi Kiubokile. Papito says, hi Kiubokile. And welcome. Papito is welcoming Kiubokile for the live chat. Malum say Papito is always here, Thank you for Papito for the support that I'm seeing. So I was just saying that let us cover a number of issues. You see, another thing which I'm worried about, which I'm going to take up on the Daily Fix, is the issue of, People getting parole. Parole has made us the laughing stock of the world. The justice system has been so discredited by people getting sentences and then getting parole when they go to jail. I think it's a mockery of justice. Look at, for instance, Oscar Pistorius. Oscar Pistorius got 15 years. The Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein gave him 15 years. Pistorius was hardly in jail for 5 years because he was paroled. Pistorius is still a young man going on with his life. Where's River Steenkamp? I think life must be life. T.W. Mashaba says, Advocate, good morning. Do you ever written anything to JP or NPA in relations of Senzo Meyiwa? Yes, I've written to the National Director of Public Prosecutions. I've never gotten any response, but I've not written to the JP. I've written to so many people. I've written to the Minister of Justice. I've written to the National Director of Public Prosecutions. All to no avail, and I think I'm sick and tired of writing these letters because, I simply don't get any response. So, just to give you an answer there, yes, I've written to these people, but I haven't got any responses. Yeah, so maybe we must bring the chat to a close. I don't know. People don't seem to be coming in. Am I talking alone? We have been going out for 1 hour and 1 hour 7 minutes. Yeah, let us bring the chat to a close. I'm now bringing the chat to a close. We'll resume again at 2 p.m. this afternoon. For those who are not with us, please be ready for the afternoon chat. We'll chat again for an hour and a half in the afternoon, starting at 2 o'clock. Thank you very much for being part of the live chat. See you then. Oh.